Hi, welcome back to our channel. In this video, we'll be discussing 5 bad habits that are keeping men weak. From social media to lack of emotional control, these habits are pervasive in the modern world and can undermine a man's masculinity. So let's dive in and explore these bad habits in more detail. Number 1. Friendship. The author of this text draws attention to the lack of careful consideration when it comes to choosing friends in the modern world. He notes that in the past, people understood that selecting bad friends could lead to dire consequences, so they would choose their friends based on shared principles and values. However, in today's society, people are more likely to pick friends based on sharing destructive habits that keep them weak. The author argues that many modern men would rather be weak and comfortable with their friends than embrace a code of honor or challenge each other to be better. The author warns that choosing weak or fake friends can have negative consequences, including betrayal. He notes that people tend to become like the 5 individuals they spend the most time with. Therefore, if you surround yourself with weak, cowardly people, you will become weak and cowardly too. Conversely, if you surround yourself with strong, principled individuals, you are more likely to become stronger and more principled. The author concludes that it is better to be lonely and strong than to be surrounded by weak and fake friends. He notes that friendship is a big topic that warrants further discussion, and promises to make more videos on this subject in the future. Overall, the author's argument highlights the importance of being selective when it comes to choosing friends, rather than choosing friends based on convenience or shared destructive habits. Individuals should aim to surround themselves with people who challenge them to be better and share similar values. By doing so, individuals can cultivate meaningful, fulfilling relationships that help them become the best versions of themselves. Number 2. Social media. Social media is a powerful tool that has the potential to control vast numbers of people. One needs only to look around in a restaurant or gym to see individuals glued to their phones, unable to resist the pull of social media. While the author acknowledges that social media can be a valuable resource, he warns that it can easily become an addiction, making people slaves to its influence. It is important to note that social media is not inherently bad. In fact, there is a wealth of knowledge and information available on social media platforms that can be beneficial. However, the key is to know how to use social media appropriately. Either one uses social media or gets used by it. Those who spend a significant amount of time constantly scrolling through their social media feeds or discussing the latest trends are being used by social media. They are allowing themselves to be controlled by its algorithms, which prioritize content based on engagement, clicks, and views. When people mindlessly consume this type of content, they are essentially playing themselves and allowing their attention spans to be destroyed. Furthermore, individuals who spend too much time watching random short clips are not only being used by social media, but are also damaging their attention span. Studies have shown that the constant bombardment of stimuli and information on social media can lead to cognitive overload, which can, in turn, impair our ability to focus and retain information. Despite the negative effects of social media, many people continue to allow themselves to become slaves to its control. It is a paradoxical situation. Deep down, most people know that social media can be detrimental to their mental health and overall well-being, yet they do not take the necessary steps to break free from its grip. To counteract the influence of social media, individuals must be mindful of their usage and develop healthy habits. Instead of spending hours scrolling through their feeds, individuals should allocate a specific amount of time for social media and stick to it. They should also be selective about the content they consume, focusing on information that is relevant, informative, and uplifting. Another way to combat social media addiction is to take a break from it altogether. Unplugging for a few hours or even a few days can help individuals recenter and focus on what truly matters in their lives. During this time, individuals can engage in activities that promote mindfulness, such as reading a book, practicing yoga, or taking a walk in nature. Number 3. Video games. The author of this text posits that the reason the vast majority of gamers are men is due to video games tapping into men's innate desires for competition, conquest, and status. While video games may make it easy to attain these desires, the author argues that it is a false virtual reality created by the game's creators to play directly into men's desires. The author cites flawed statistics that claim that nearly half of all gamers are women, arguing that these statistics are misleading and do not take into account the majority of men who are addicted to video games. By manipulating the data, game creators create a false narrative that appeals to men's desires. However, the author clarifies that he is not saying that all video games are bad or that people should not enjoy them. Instead, he argues that if individuals are not dominating, competing, and leveling up in the real world, then they have no business doing it in the virtual world. In essence, the author argues that video games can be a trap that plays into men's desires for competition, conquest, and status. While there are undoubtedly good games out there, it is important to remember that the virtual world is not a substitute for the real world. People should prioritize achieving their goals in the real world before indulging in virtual games that do not provide real-world benefits. Number 4. Sleep. Sleep is a crucial aspect of overall health that many men tend to overlook. However, it's important to understand that the longer you go without quality sleep, the more you are weakening yourself. Poor sleep quality can lead to reduced testosterone levels, decreased brain capacity, and a myriad of other health issues. It's essential to note that there is a significant difference between getting hours of sleep and getting quality sleep. In other words, sleeping for 8 hours straight doesn't necessarily guarantee quality sleep. To ensure that you're getting quality sleep, consider implementing the 10-3-1 rule. This rule involves avoiding caffeine for 10 hours before bedtime, refraining from eating for 3 hours before bed, and avoiding technology for 1 hour before bed. By following the 10-3-1 rule, you can significantly improve the quality of your sleep. Additionally, there are other advanced techniques and strategies that you can use to optimize your sleep further. For example, creating a consistent sleep schedule, establishing a relaxing bedtime routine, and keeping your sleep environment cool and dark can all contribute to better sleep quality. Number 5. Lack of emotional control. One of the most critical pillars of masculinity is emotional control, and it's a skill that many men struggle with in the modern world. It's not uncommon to see guys getting emotional over minor issues, and this is a sign of weakness. The best men in the world have control over their emotions, which doesn't mean they never cry or lack emotions. Instead, it means that they choose when to display certain emotions. While there was a full video on emotional control, it was taken down by YouTube. This is unfortunate because emotional control is a crucial aspect of masculinity that should be discussed and addressed. By believing the false narrative that it's okay to cry and be weak, men are inadvertently undermining their own pillar of masculinity. Emotional control is not about suppressing your emotions or denying them altogether, but rather about understanding and managing them effectively. When someone can make you emotional, they are essentially controlling you. It's essential to learn how to control your emotions intelligently instead of being a slave to them. This means recognizing when you're becoming emotional and taking steps to manage those emotions in a healthy way. Emotionally intelligent men understand their emotions and know how and when to use them effectively, rather than being controlled by them. Thank you for watching this video on the 5 bad habits keeping men weak. We hope you found it informative and helpful. Remember, by taking steps to address these habits, you can become a stronger, more resilient, and more successful man. We encourage you to subscribe to our channel for more content on personal development and masculinity. See you in the next video.